Hey guys, today we're going to talk about Adam and Eve and what we believe about their story as Christians and what is the scientific view there is about them in the Christian scientific community. So, the first question we have is, did humanity rise as a population or true people? The main scientific belief today is that humanity evolved in groups on the African continent through evolution. The biblical belief, however, is that humans came actually from true humans we know as Adam and Eve, who were created in the beginning of the world and are the ancestors of the entire world. There are many scientists out there who also believe that humanity didn't evolve just from a group in Africa, but all across the world, and there's multiple different varying theories on that. However, most scientists today believe that it was a group of people in Africa, and most scientists also believe that it's almost impossible. It's impossible for humans to have come from true people in only true people. But so today we're going to go through some evidence that supports that theory, or what could make that story of Adam and Eve real without discrediting the Bible and discrediting what we know. So the idea that humanity evolved from a group of people comes from evolution. To believe in evolution, you have to believe that humanity evolved from a group of people, because only groups can evolve. Evolution can only happen in a group system. It cannot happen with a single individual. To this day, we have no idea how many were this group of people. We do not have an exact number, and the estimates, because there's obviously it's been millions of years and there's very scarce evidence, and the devices and the techniques used to measure the population number for these groups of people is very idealized, and it's very much not necessarily unrealistic, but it's just very they change a lot of things to make it fit into into scientists' hypothesis and beliefs. So we still don't know how many humans were the first group of humans and exactly where they started or anything like that. Most scientists believe it's Africa, and there's a lot of evidence that supports that, but there's nothing is proven yet. It's all hypothesis. So there are four main views of Adam and Eve's story in the Christian scientific world. So how Christian scientists view Adam and Eve. There's first one is that Adam and Eve didn't really exist. Their entire story was a metaphor or just a symbolism, and that God was talking about human life or motherhood or different things. That God was just telling a story to help humans understand their creation in a way that you would be able to process when God told that story to Moses, because Moses was the one who wrote Genesis. I personally don't agree with that. I think that with this view, I think that this would discredit a lot of things in the Bible, and as Christians, we have to analyze science through the Bible and not the Bible through science, because otherwise we have we because of the first thing we need to have as Christians is faith. I don't personally agree with this. I think that it wouldn't make sense. I think the text in Genesis is very much specific when it talks about one man and a single woman. That is also how other people in the Bible itself view this story as a single man and a single woman. So I don't think that the story that Adam and Eve weren't real. Is that Adam and Eve weren't just like fake. There's also the view that the Adam and Eve were a group of people that existed, but their story is figurative. So basically, almost the same thing as the first one, but this one says that like no, there wasn't Adam and Eve, but they were just normal human. They were just like humans that evolved, and like their story's figurative. There was Adam and Eve, just their story isn't what it is. Then there's the belief that their story existed, and the stories that they Adam and Eve existed, and their view is completely real, and that it just we the way they explain it in the Bible is just difficult for us to understand with science, but there is a scientific explanation for that. And then there's the fourth one, which is that Adam and Eve existed and their story is completely real, but they're separated from the humans we know today. So it's like they were higher forms of humans, or no, they were more evolved, or they were separated from the kinds of, so like there's the humans we know today, they don't necessarily come from Adam and Eve. They were just the first humans, and those are some of the different beliefs in Adam of how Adam and Eve existed. So what is the scientific proof of Adam and Eve? And there's even any. and how what supports the idea that there was two people instead of a group of people. So human beings, first of all, display much less genetic diversity than other species we know. Um, there's also the fact that scientific studies mostly agree that human population started in Africa with a small group. We again don't know how many, but we know that it couldn't have been many multiple people. There's also a study on the mitochondrial Eve, which is basically a study that traces back DNA through African descent, because African group people, they usually tribes, they usually wrote down their DNA, and they wrote down, no, not wrote down their DNA, they wrote down their ancestry like over multiple generations, like any other, unlike any other group of people, through their mothers. So like the mothers are used for women in African societies, are used for um, like creating lineages. They use women instead of men, and you can trace down human DNA from almost like everyone to a single woman in Africa, and the same thing can happen to a man. So there's DNA in everyone that can be traced back to a single man in Africa. However, this does not mean those were Adam and Eve. They didn't exist long enough for them to be Adam and Eve. I'm not saying like, oh, this is evidence that Adam and Eve existed. I'm just saying that this can be used to support the idea that humanity came from a few people instead of a group of people. Because this shows that if so many people can be traced back, the DNA of so many people can be traced back to a pair of people. By the way, they were not connected. It's not possible that they were from different times. The most recent um, Eve that was found, the most recent DNA that was traced back, lived much later than the most recent Adam DNA that was found. So I don't know if I explained this well, but basically what I'm saying is that when scientists trace the DNA of multiple people, they can trace it back to different people, one woman and one man in the African continent, which is why most people believe that humanity started in the Africa. Most scientists believe that humanity started in the African continent. However, this does not mean that there were Adam and Eve, because they lived much in different periods of time, basically, and it just shows that this could be possible for humanity's DNA to come from two different people, from a pair of people. That's basically all I have. Thank you for listening and watching.